Wizards of the Coast have taken a step to make good on their promise with the announcement of a new upcoming release, and I couldn't be more happy. I'll tell you what we know so far. Polyhedra Paradise. Get in the library! Hello and welcome to Polyhedra Paradise. If you're new here and you enjoy what we do, please consider liking and subscribing. Now let's get right into it. Yesterday, a mystery listing appeared on Amazon, giving scant details about a May 18th book with a price tag of $49.95, teasing out that we would get a title announcement today on the 23rd. Well, this morning I went back to the listing to see this. That's right, it turns out the mystery listing was none other than a new updated Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. Now, anybody knows me or has spent time watching my channel knows how much I adore the setting and how I have wished to receive a proper update, and it looks like my patience has finally paid off. Now, at this point, though, details are slim, but let's take a look at what we do know so far, and then stay tuned to the end of the video for my speculations. All right, here is a shot of the official Wizards of the Coast product overview page. Let's take a look at that and see what they have to say. Face your fears. Unleash the horrors of Ravenloft in this campaign sourcebook for the world's greatest role-playing game. Terror stalks the nightmare realms of Ravenloft. No one knows this better than monster scholar Rudolph Van Richten. To arm a new generation against the creatures of the night, Van Richten has compiled his correspondence and case files into this tome of eerie tales and chilling truth. Discover the mysteries of Ravenloft. Mist-shrouded lands where infamous Dark Lords lurk among ageless vampires, zombie hordes, cosmic terrors, and worse, that make your choice. Will you create your own demi-planes of dread? Or will you join the ranks of haunted heroes who embrace the macabre lineages, dual-edged dark gifts, haunted subclasses, and other forbidden powers? Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft contains everything you need to craft a horror-themed campaign for Dungeons & Dragons. Unleash a treasure trove of new story hooks, character options, and campaign customizations to bring one of the most exciting Dungeons & Dragons setting to life. Travel, perhaps by choice, to familiar domains or to discover new ones, as Ravenloft's Domains of Dread return for the first time in 5th edition. Includes rules and advice for building custom domains and Dark Lords using established horror tropes or your own special blend. Discover a host of new backgrounds and trinkets themed specifically for a horror setting, as well as new character lineages, including the Damnfear, Hexblood, and Reborn. Now, those are what we got earlier in the Unearthed Arcana. We'll come back to that. Find 2 new subclasses, the College of Spirits for Bards and the Undead Pact for Warlocks. Explore dark gifts for characters that flesh out your place in the Domains of Dread. Encounter a horrific assortment of creatures from the monstrous bestiary, and it includes a brand new adventure. That's a lot to take in. So anybody who saw the 3 new lineages released as playtest material earlier this year kind of had an inkling that something in the world of Ravenloft was coming. Combined with the highly publicized changes to Vistani and the special edition Curse of Strahd, it really seemed only a matter of time before its best-selling standalone adventure received a much-needed expansion. But now to speculate and ask some questions. Judging by the verbiage, we are definitely getting more domains to play around in and more Dark Lords to torment our players with. But where does it all fall in canon? Now, according to this YouTube post from the official Dungeons & Dragons YouTube page, we are getting no less than 30 Domains of Dreads and their infamous Dark Lords. But will they start from scratch, pulling bits and pieces of lore together to create a whole new setting from the ground up? Or will they copy the whole cloth OG 2nd edition, having the players be there for the events like the Grand Conjunction? Now, this is a great opportunity here to re-release the 6 core modules that takes the PCs through the seminal event in Ravenloft's history. Or will this pick up where the older editions left off? Darkon having already been changed significantly through the events of Grim Harvest, transformed into Necropolis, and then back again, and the events of the Bleak House box set, a distant memory. I think that last statement offers a little hint for me at what the plan is. You see, for those of you who don't know, in Bleak House, it was a box set released towards the end of the 2nd edition run. We saw the death of the 2nd most popular person in the Domain of Dread, Dr. Rudolph Van Richten. He spent his life traveling around the land, chronicling the domains and the Dark Lords, giving us all the insights we need on creatures such as vampires, liches, the Vistani, etc. But in that box set and story arc, he met an unceremonious and untimely death. and that basically put an end to all of his guidance and anything associated with his name. Now, they did get around this by having the Weathermay Foxgrove sisters pick up his work where he left off and release another 3-volume set in his name. It was called Von Richten's Monster Hunter's Compendium. I actually have a copy of that right here. I'm going to take a look on the front page here. Oh, there's all Rudy himself. But I don't think that's going to be the case for this release. What I believe we're going to get are the tales of very much alive and well Van Richten as he takes us through the rebooted Demiplane of Dread. We'll see some familiar faces from the older editions, such as Dr. Victor Mordenham, Lord Wilford Godfrey, Tristan Ap Blanc, but I think that'll give him a chance to weed out some of the crossover characters like Vecna from Greyhoff and Vlad Darkov and Lord Soth from Dragonlance, if that's something they want to do. Now, mind you, I don't know that they're going to do that, but they might. But that does beg the question, what do you do with Aslan? If they're going to weed out some of these crossover characters, he is such an important figure to canonical Ravenloft history. How do you exclude him? There's also several crossover characters, such as the Spalsiers from the Forgotten Realms, that they would most definitely want to include. Another thing that catches my attention in this listing is the phrase, dark gifts to flesh out your place in the domains of dread. This can be taken two ways, obviously. First, in the sense of physical gifts that somebody gives to you. To that point, there was a supplement back in the day called Forged in Darkness. It was a tome, it was a supplement that had a whole bunch of magical items and cursed items that you could drop into your game. That's one way. But personally, I think it signals a return to a game mechanic called Ravenloft Powers checks. Now, see, in the old 2nd edition, and I believe in 3rd edition too, if your characters did something overtly evil or questionable, there was a chance that the land itself could turn its attention to you, giving you the rewards for your dubious behavior at a cost. Now, the cost could range from minor, for a minor benefit, like permanent dark vision, but you end up with glowing eyes, to something major, like being granted a domain of your own at the cost of never being able to leave. Now, Ravenloft Powers checks, along with Fear and Horror checks, up to this point have been disappointingly absent from 5th edition. But I, for one, would welcome their return. It made it unique. It made it feel a lot more deadly, and it made it really feel like the land was alive. Ravenloft was unique, with each domain having its own style and wide range of technological advancements in different time periods represented. It gave the players an opportunity to have wildly different experiences, all without having to hop to different campaign settings. The only thing you had to deal with was crazy Dark Lords that could kill you at any second. I am so glad they picked this to be the next campaign setting that they fully flesh out in 5th edition. Well, those are my thoughts on what little information we have. How do you think it's all going to shake out? Do you think we're going to get a full-blown setting book jam-packed with information? Or are we going to get a brief overview and short blurbs on each domain? What do you think the standalone adventure is going to be? Oh, we didn't even talk about that, and we've gone pretty long now. I have some thoughts. I may release that in another video. But what are your thoughts? What do you think? Let me know in the comments section down below. And if you all enjoy the content, please consider liking and subscribing, and keep an eye out for more Ravenloft content, more D&D content, and live streams coming from the channel. So, everybody remember, keep your Sunsword at the ready, and in the game of life, may you always roll with advantage. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.